Happy Nṛsiṁha Chaturdashi. It's a very special day for us, the appearance day of Lord Nṛsiṁhadev. And it's also the 79th anniversary of our Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Sundar Govindadev Goswami Maharaj joining the Mat. 79 years ago on this day, Srila Bhakti Sundar Govindadev Goswami Maharaj met the Vaishnavas, the disciples of Srila Bhakti Rakhak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj, the devotees of the Chaitanya Saraswat Mat. Gurudev met them in Nadan Ghat, and that's just about maybe 8 kilometers away from Navadvip. And the preaching party was there, and Gurudev heard their Harikatha and was very impressed. He said from his childhood growing up, he heard about so many Gaudiya Vaishnava pastimes and the assembly of Raja Bhirambir in Srinivasacharya's pastimes when the books were lost. And when he heard the Chaitanya Saraswat Mat devotees preaching, he was reminded of Srinivasacharya and his glorious Bhagavad Katha. And seeing these very effulgent Vaishnavas, he became very impressed, and he said he was brainwashed by them happily, and approached the devotees and said, take me, I'll go with you. That time he was the eldest of his family. There were 3 boys he had 2 brothers in his family, and his father had just passed away. And he was working as a doctor's assistant to support his family. So he was like 16 years old that time, and said, I want to go and join your Mat. And they said, okay. He said, but if we go, we have to go right now. And it was the very early morning hours of Nṛsiṁha Chaturdashi, and the sun hadn't come up yet, and there were no boats to cross the river, so they swam across the river and came to the Chaitanya Saraswat Mat, and meeting Srila Sridhar Maharaj for the first time. And he was his impression meeting Srila Sridhar Maharaj for the first time was like meeting Sanatana Goswami. What he envisioned Sanatana Goswami to be like, very aristocratic, very effulgent. He saw Srila Sridhar Maharaj and was reminded of Sanatana Goswami. And their first conversation, how long are you going to stay? Srila Sridhar Maharaj asked, and Gurudev was a little like, what do you mean? How long? Do you want me to leave? Like, little like, what do you mean by that? And Srila Sridhar Maharaj said, no, you can stay, but like, how long is it possible? Can you stay? And he said, once I come, I'm here forever. I'm here at your service. And their relationship started then. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj said, can you listen to me and not your mind? And Srila Gurudev said, yes, always yes. And then he said after a few days he was taking prasadam, little eye-shot distance from Srila Sridhar Maharaj, and there were some insects in his dal, which we saw sometimes living in Navadvip. And sometimes they say in Bengali, when you join the Mat, you have to tolerate the dal and the squall. The dal can be like water and not very tasty, and the squall means like sometimes you'll get insulted in the Mat by like other devotees and brahmacharis and whatever, little like disagreements. So Gurudev saw the insects in his doll and just said, no! And then, he composed himself and he said, I'm supposed to listen to Srila Sridhar Maharaj. This is his prasadam. This is what's coming to me. Then I'm going to take it. Yes. And later, Srila Sridhar Maharaj asked, I saw you jump back and say no. What was that all about? And he explained, oh, there were some insects. I didn't want to eat it in the doll. But I was feeling this is your prasadam. I must honor it. And yes, I'm going to accept everything that's coming from your mercy and from your side. So Srila Gurudev stayed, and there was some protest from his family. You're supposed to be supporting us. You're the eldest of our sons, especially his mother, Tarangini Didi. And she was starting to panic. He's not coming home. There's no financial support coming from him. How are we going to survive? And she sent some villagers to come bring him back. They found out where he was. And first few times the villagers going to get him were unsuccessful. Then the whole village came to get him. And the scene was described as, you know how there's bars on the windows in India? And Gurudev was holding the bars and the villagers were pulling his legs. This scene Gurudev described. Then one of the wise village men said, this is not going to work, taking him by force. He's not going to come home. We have to compromise here somehow. And then some meeting took place, and they met with Srila Sridhar Maharaj, and Srila Sridhar Maharaj said, I will give shelter to your whole family. They can come stay in the mott, and I'll provide prasadam for them, place to stay, rooms, etc. So that peace agreement took place, and Gurudev's mother, we call her Thakurma, which means grandma in Bengali, she came to live in the mott with his two brothers, Vishwarup and Dhananjaya Prabhu. And they all took initiation from Srila Sridhar Maharaj. And the rest is history. It's, so many pastimes are there. And this is just how it all began on this day, this auspicious day. And one thing Gurudev always struggled with was fasting. It's a fasting day. We fast until actually tomorrow, but there's some anukalpa, a little non-grain, like Ekadashi prasadam served later for who is not fully fasting. But Gurudev couldn't fast at all. And he was arriving on this day oh my God, it's a full fast day, how am I going to survive? And he asked Srila Sridhar Maharaj when they were first meeting, he said, oh, there's a papaya in the tree, can I have it please? And the rule in the mott is everything goes to the deities. You can't just pick fruit or anything without offering it. So Srila Sridhar Maharaj said, he understood this is a special case of a devotee, he can't fast. He said, you can take half for the deity and you can have half. And I always remember that whenever we cut papayas, one half must go to the deities and then we can have the other half. But sometimes Gurudev really suffered when prasadam wasn't available on time or something happened. One incident took place where there was nothing to eat. So he took some newspaper and poured some water on it and softened it up, smashed it, and ate it. Newspaper. And then another time there was no newspaper available, so he reached outside of the bars of his veranda windows and picked some mango leaves and broke them up and mixed with water and ate the mango leaves. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj heard about this and was like, oh no, we have to be more careful with him and take better care and make sure there's always something for him. So just some memories from on this particular thread. It's a special day for us, the disciples of Srila Gurudev, the followers of Srila Gurudev, knowing that this is 1947 when he joined the mob. And that's 79 years ago. So this occasion is so auspicious for us. I also wanted to just mention, we heard about the passing of Agnidev Prabhu. He was someone known to me from my teenage years, living in Eugene, Oregon, in the United States. I only had one job in my entire life before I left America and went to India, like 19, 20 years old. But before that, my friend Sachi and I, we ran Agnidev and Pushpadanta Prabhu's restaurant once or twice a week. And Agnidev Prabhu taught us how to cook. So we'd go and cook all the preparations. It was a Gauranga's restaurant, Govinda's. This was Gauranga's in downtown Eugene, Oregon. They had a restaurant. And we'd cook everything, we'd serve everything, we'd run the restaurant and then close it up a couple days a week. And had lots of kirtans. They would have weekly Sunday feasts, and we'd got to hear Agnidev sing. He was famous for his kirtan, and like epic famous. I think you've all heard him, even you may not know who he is, but extremely pure and sweet and substantial kirtan. His heart was fully surrendered to Nam Sankirtan, Mahaprabhu's movement, and I got to see him on one of my last visits to London. He came to the West London Chaitanya Saraswat Mat, and he sang Jai Sachinandana, Srila Sridhar Maharaj's composition. He liked very much singing that and sang it very beautifully. And we gave him a copy of Sharanagati that was published by our Mat from Tyagi Maharaj, and he was very happy and took prasadam. It was my last time seeing him. But it's a big loss for the world, Vaishnavas. He was so dear to so many devotees, and so we're offering our condolences to his family and to all those who loved him. And he'll be forever remembered for all his kirtan. And his cooking, he was a very good cook. And I was very fortunate to learn from him. So lastly, I have some allergy and my eyes are itchy and I'm not crying. Same with last week. Someone thought I was crying on the live stream, but it's just itchy allergy. And I wanted to mention something about this pastime, this amazing avatar, incarnation of the Lord Nṛsiṁhadev's appearance, coming out of love for his devotee. And these pastimes with Nṛsiṁhadev and Prahlad Maharaj are very famous, representing the beginning of Shuddha Bhakta, pure unalloyed devotion. And Prahlad Maharaj was the epitome of that, where pure devotion begins in our divine conception, Gaudiya Vaishnava conception. And he was the epitome of Shanta Rasa, neutral, pure, loving devotion to the Lord. Then you'll see in the Brihad Bhagavatamritam the gradation. Shiva, when speaking to Narada Muni, Narada Muni's coming to find the greatest of Vaishnavas and approaches Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva said, no, go to Prahlad. He's the best. And Prahlad Maharaj meets Narada Muni, his guru, and so many things happen, but Prahlad Maharaj sends him to Hanuman. No, it's not me, I'm not the greatest Vaishnava. Hanuman, who is the epitome of Dasya Rasa. So you get the gradation. Then Hanuman, no, I'm not the greatest devotee, and sends Narada Muni to, Dwaraka, to Uddhava, where there's some Vatsalya Rasa relationship. Then Uddhava's, no, go to Vrindavan, where you'll find Madhura Rasa. And that's the highest devotees there, the Braja Gopis. So this gradation, and this is where it all begins. Pure, loving, unalloyed, unmotivated devotion. We find that in Prahlad Maharaj. And the Lord appears for him out of his protection. And I'm just going to give kind of a brief version of this pastime, the best I can. It all begins at the gates of Vaikuntha when Jai and Vijay offend the 4 Kumaras, the sons of Brahma, and they curse them to take birth as either, is it like 6 devotees in the material world or 3 asura births. And by divine arrangement, they choose these 3, make it quick, 3 births as demons. And the first set of demons is Hiranyakashipu and his younger brother Hiranyaksha. And so in these pastimes with Nṛsiṁha, already Hiranyaksha was killed by Vamanadev. He was terrorizing the 3 worlds, killing sadhus and munis and rishis, and killing cows. And he was apparently like very greedy for gold and just raping the earth of her gold and causing some disbalance on the earth, Bhu Devi. And she became very weak, and he just threw her into the bottom of the ocean. That's when Varahadev comes and kills Hiranyakashipu's younger brother, Hiranyaksha. So Hiranyakashipu's furious and wants revenge on Vishnu. And he was also terrorizing the universe and disbalancing, displacing the universal order and disturbing all the gods and all the 3 worlds, and went to do tapasya to gain some power. He wants to be immune from mortality and wants to power trip forever, and does some severe austerities for thousands and thousands of celestial years. It said he was standing on his tippy toes with his arms in the air and only living off of pran, and an anthill covered him. He was standing still for so many of these thousands of celestial years. He got completely consumed by ants, and so much force was coming from his austerity, that fire was coming out of his head, and that fire was heating the universe and disturbing everyone. And so finally Brahma, for some reason, I never understood why did Brahma, I guess it's some debt. Brahma has to fulfill his wish, or at least externally comes to grant the boon that Hiranyakashipu wants. And he couldn't find him at first because he was covered in this anthill, and there was trees covering him, and he was in like this pile of leaves, but the fire coming out of his head and the smoke directed Brahma to Hiranyakashipu, and then Brahma, I think, sprinkles water on him somehow, kind of revives his physical form, and they begin speaking, and Hiranyakashipu asks for the boon to be not killed in the day and the night, not by man or animal, not inside, outside, what else? By any weapons, not in the morning, not at night. All these conditions, he's thinking he's so clever, and he's covering all his bases so that there's no way he can get killed. And Brahma grants that boon, yes. But in kind of in the meantime of all this, Hiranyakashipu's wife, Kayodhu, was pregnant with Prahlad Maharaj. And the gods were all worried, oh no, another demon being born in this family. We got to kidnap Kayodhu, and when this baby is born, kill him. And while Hiranyakashipu is doing his tapasya, Indra and the gods, they invade the palace of Hiranyakashipu and kidnap Kayodhu, and Narada Muni sees what's happening and intercepts this kidnapping and takes Kayodhu, Prahlad's mom, Hiranyakashipu's wife, to his ashram to keep Prahlad Maharaj safe, and explains to the gods, no, this is a great devotee that's going to be born, and I will protect him. And he's instructing Kayodhu, and she's learning about the science of God realization, and Prahlad Maharaj is listening in the womb and getting all spiritual instruction in the womb. Then, before his birth, Narada Muni returns Kayodhu and the unborn baby to the palace of Hiranyakashipu, and Hiranyakashipu, with his boons, returns to the palace. Prahlad Maharaj is born, and everything's going fine until school, where we were just last week remembering what's his name? The sage. Bali Maharaj's guru, Shukracharya, his sons were teaching Prahlad Maharaj in school. This is all demon society, and so they were teaching very materialistic studies, politics, economy, like political science, everything material. They were trying to teach Prahlad Maharaj. And they were also great sages, Shukracharya's sons. They were teachers. They didn't hate Prahlad Maharaj, but they were very fearful of Hiranyakashipu. And they're seeing that he's not paying attention to their teachings. And in recess, Prahlad Maharaj is preaching Krishna consciousness, everything he learned from Narada Muni. He's teaching his classmates and all about Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, and how this mundane world is samsara, is full of suffering, and all about devotion to Vishnu. And Prahlad Maharaj very ecstatic and undisturbed by any punishments. And one day, Hiranyakashipu asks Prahlad, "Oh, how's it going in school? What are you learning?" And he's preaching Krishna consciousness and saying so many things about Vishnu, who Hiranyakashipu had banned all worship of Vishnu. He hates Vishnu. He wants to kill Vishnu. And his son is preaching Vishnu's glories, and he's just getting furious and begins torturing Prahlad Maharaj, throwing him, having his subjects torture Prahlad Maharaj in so many ways, throwing him in a pit of snakes, stabbing him with tridents and swords. What else? All the different, throwing him off mountains, and many varieties of torture Prahlad Maharaj was being subjected to, but totally undisturbed, totally peaceful, and just chanting Vishnu's names, remembering the Lord, and totally protected by the Lord. And Hiranyakashipu is just getting more and more furious, and just jumping to the climax. We'll discuss this more in detail this evening. Our festival begins at 5:30, and we will be on Zoom for those who want to hear all the details. We have many devotees coming to speak, but they're in this assembly hall of King Hiranyakashipu, and he's so angry. Prahlad Maharaj is not responding to this torture, and he still continues with his non-stop devotion and love for Vishnu and preaching, and asks Prahlad, showing the pillar, "Your God is even in, if he's everywhere, is he even in this pillar?" And Prahlad Maharaj, "Yes, of course he is." And it's mentioned by Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada that Prahlad could see Nṛsiṁha peeping in the pillar, like little, a glimpse that the Lord is there. The word peeping is used, like peeping out, showing something to Prahlad. Yes, he's in there. And Hiranyakashipu is furious and just pulls out this sword. It said it's like he had some special sword from Shiva, and when he goes to break the pillar with this sword, this epic, incredible, unbelievable sound emerges when Nṛsiṁha's getting ready to appear. And it's this so shocking that, and this sound just penetrates the whole universe. And in the celestial regions, in Brahmaloka, they're hearing this sound. And in the lower planetary systems, they're hearing it. It's the roar of Nṛsiṁha. First the sound comes, and it's deafening, it's shocking, it's epic, and Srila Sridhar Maharaj mentions that this sound causes a miscarriage in a Brahmin family. And this Brahmin, the father of this unborn child, curses the Lord. You caused my unborn child to die by your roar, by your sound. And curses the Lord. The Lord, these are pastimes. The Lord accepts this curse. The curse is that you will never enjoy family life. Like you just ruined our family life. You will never enjoy family life. And someone mentioned that, it's maybe also mentioned that you will forget who you are. But the main curse was that you will not be able to enjoy family life. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj said the parallel there is Ram Leela. All that happens with Sita being kidnapped and they're banished and going through the fire, and then ultimately she goes into the earth, and extreme painful pastimes Lord Ram endured in his Leela. And also Mahaprabhu lost his first wife as Nimai Pandit. He lost Lakshmi Priya. Then he leaves home when his second wife, Vishnu Priya, is only 13 years old. These two Leelas are shown. Srila Sridhar Maharaj describes where that curse is taking effect. So anyway, this sound is just unbelievable, and Hiranyakashipu is just absolutely shocked. And the Lord, as half man, half lion, appears. And Hiranyakashipu had 3 sets of soldiers, armies, like thousands and thousands and thousands of soldiers coming at Nṛsiṁha, trying to fight him. And it's described like a cat is playing, getting ready to kill mice and small creatures. Nṛsiṁha, it's nothing for him to kill all these soldiers. And meanwhile, the time of day is going towards twilight. And it's not day, not night. And Nṛsiṁha sets his sights on Hiranyakashipu. It's time for him to get killed. And none of his mystic powers, none of his fighting skills can match Nṛsiṁha in any way. And Nṛsiṁha is, the description of him, just massive with this amazing mane and very muscular, his eyes like the blazing sun. He is so furious, and this growling is going on, and it's everyone everywhere is shocked. And he grabs hold of Hiranyakashipu, goes to the threshold of the assembly hall, not inside, not outside. It's now twilight. It's not day, it's not night. And with his nails, which is not a weapon, it's his nails. He's not a man, not an animal, he's both. All these conditions that were canceling Hiranyakashipu's tactic of becoming immortal, all the loopholes, Vishnu is finding a way to kill him. No immunity was granted to Hiranyakashipu, and Nṛsiṁha on his lap in the threshold of his assembly hall just rips open Hiranyakashipu's abdomen and pulls out his intestines and wraps it around his neck like a garland, and then throws him to the side. And then goes and sits on Hiranyakashipu's throne. Like, he's killed, he's gone, and Nṛsiṁha sits on the throne of Hiranyakashipu, and he's absolutely furious, just roaring, and everyone's terrified. The gods, everyone's terrified except Prahlad. Prahlad is just like, look at this. The Lord is coming to save me, and he's so beautiful and so wonderful and so grateful. And he's this 5-year-old boy who's so full of love and so unafraid. But Lakshmi Devi's there, terrified. Brahma's terrified. All the gods came down to see what was going on. What was this sound? And the remaining soldiers of Hiranyakashipu who weren't dead, who just were playing dead on the ground, just paralyzed. Much time went by where Nṛsiṁha was just no way to pacify him. He was so furious. And finally, Lord Brahma realizes only Prahlad Maharaj can pacify the Lord, and requests, Prahlad, please, you go and offer your obeisances to the Lord and offer some prayers, and only you can calm him. And Prahlad Maharaj does not hesitate. 5-year-old, beautiful boy, just seeing what happened and full of love for Nṛsiṁha, goes and offers his obeisances at the feet of Nṛsiṁha. Nṛsiṁha lifts him up when he was offering his obeisances and trying to get up. Nṛsiṁha takes him and puts his hand on his head and takes away all anxiety, and it's mentioned like bestows all his mercy on him and all divine realization. And Prahlad Maharaj begins to pray. And these prayers are called the Prahlad Stuti, something like 40-something very famous prayers. And of all the aspects of this pastime, this is the most famous and important part for the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, all the prayers of Prahlad Maharaj. And in humility he says, Lord, like, who am I? I'm this boy born in an Asura family. How can I pray to you in such a way to please you, when even the gods, so many eloquent gods, cannot satisfy you with their words? Only you can be satisfied by pure devotion, unalloyed devotion for your lotus feet, with surrender, sincerity, with pure devotional service. Only that. And he said, so many qualifications cannot please you. One who's has aristocratic birth, who's full of knowledge, beauty, power, austerity, nothing can satisfy you. None of these qualified persons can satisfy you, but only your surrendered devotees. And he mentions Gajendra, the elephant. Gajendra is being attacked by the crocodile in this lake, and is being attacked, and he's struggling for so long, such a long time. Like a very long fight takes place between Gajendra and this crocodile demon. And Gajendra in this lake just grabs a lotus in the middle of this fight and offers it to Vishnu with love and sincerity and surrender. And Vishnu comes and kills that crocodile. And Prahlad Maharaj is mentioning, like, an elephant, by offering a lotus flower to you, pleases you, and you come to rescue him. So many important prayers. Prahlad Maharaj is saying, like a mirror, mirroring. We're trying to make offerings for your pleasure, but actually they're for us, for our benefit. We're being benefited by every service, devotional service performed for your satisfaction. We are benefiting. You don't need us. Nothing we can do. You are complete. You're for yourself and by yourself. Then what can we do for you? What we are all doing in our spiritual practice and offerings are for our best interest in benefiting us. So many prayers are there, and finally the Lord, in one of his prayers, he just says, my poor father, I hope he'll be purified. And Nṛsiṁha Dev says, yes, by my touch, he's already liberated. And the prayers continue. Then lastly, after the prayers, Nṛsiṁha Dev wants to give Prahlad Maharaj a boon, a blessing. And Prahlad Maharaj says, I'm not a businessman. I don't want to engage in any mercenary relationship with you. I just want to serve you. I want blessings to serve you without any motive, any ulterior motives. Just pure love service. I'm your servant. So Nṛsiṁha Dev's finally fully pacified, and it's mentioned that the Lord begins like a cat licks Prahlad Maharaj. We heard Gurudev say like Nṛsiṁha Dev was purring like a cat and licking Prahlad Maharaj like a lion cat would do to his child. And then Prahlad Maharaj is installed on Hiranyakashipu's throne as king of the Asuras. And Nṛsiṁha Dev's pastimes continue in Vaikuntha. Prahlad Maharaj is always in Vaikuntha and is only called for these pastimes. And in these earthly pastimes, he rules the Asura class, teaches them devotion, and teaches them dharma, and in a very non-violent way rules the Asura class for a very long time. I don't know how many years. And said by his pure ruling, his virtuous nature, he becomes very powerful and is ruling the three worlds. And later passing that throne to his son and then grandson Bali Maharaj. So we see through these prayers, especially reading through these prayers, are full of everything we need to know about Krishna consciousness, the 9 processes of devotion, the mood of humility, the devotional service, and all of its intricacies, and how, most importantly, to understand Shuddha Bhakta, pure unalloyed devotion to the Lord, which Prahlad Maharaj embodies and exemplifies in the most epic way. So this is that day, Nṛsiṁha Chaturdashi, and we're just starting our day. We will continue again this evening. That's the main part of our pastime is twilight, and that's around 6, 6:45 here in Thailand, when the sun is setting and when it's not day, when it's not night. That's when we want to hear the very climax of this pastime of Lord Nṛsiṁha appearing from the pillar. And we will gather again and hear that, and we invite everyone to join us for more details and hopefully a better rendering of this pastime. We'll have some of our sannyasis and acharyas online talking about this occasion. I did my best without doing my homework, just remembering from celebrating this occasion so many times. I remember once, I'll never forget this, my very first Nṛsiṁha Chaturdashi was in India with Gurudev, and I didn't quite understand the whole fasting process, and I tried in the morning without drinking any water, and went up until the evening. I couldn't survive anymore, and there were some biscuits in the room I was staying in, and I ate them. And Gurudev, when he saw me a few minutes later, he's like, "Are you fasting?" And I said, "I was, and I couldn't do it anymore. I ate some biscuits." And he was so disappointed. Like, why biscuits? You know, in India, everyone always has biscuits in their room because we couldn't always take the prasadam. It was full of chilies. And there were just some biscuits nearby, and I ate them. And he was just like, you could have had some fruit or drink some. They make sarbat. They serve it to the devotees, like electrolyte water mixed with sugar and lemon, lime. And so I made that very foolish mistake, my first Nṛsiṁha Chaturdashi. And I always remember, like, oh my God, regretting that. But we live and learn. I never did it again. That was like 3 decades ago. And we've celebrated this many times with Gurudev. It's a big feast tomorrow, the following day. Fasting and feasting. And tomorrow's Purnima. And so many preparations will be made for Sringadev's pleasure. Also today we try to offer as much as we can, but the devotees who cannot fully fast will take like a Ekadashi Anukalpa. So we do our best. Don't make the same mistake as me, my first time celebrating. And we just wish everyone a very happy Nṛsiṁha Chaturdashi.